Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today as we get into the nitty gritty and what has happened today. Actually, quite a lot has happened today and we've got quite a bit to go through, and as you can tell by the title of the video, there's some big news. So we're going to get cracking, but before we do, and just to let you know, England are in the midst of playing and England are about to go through to the Euros after beating Italy 3-1, it seems, unless that score changes very, very shortly. But it does look like Italy, once again, are not qualifying for a major tournament. Unbelievable. But England are definitely going to be there, so bring on the Euros. It's coming home. We're going to say that reluctantly now because every time we use it, it just never does. So we might have to stop using it and then it might happen. Do the reverse jinx. Before we get cracking into the stories on today's video, couple of things. Firstly, to make sure that you are here for all the content as it drops, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified once I have uploaded. On top of that, smash like button if you do enjoy this. Check out Instagram, my brand new one, and please get rid of the old one, the one that has been hacked into. I will put it up on screen for you right now. This account, can you please get rid of, report it. Please, please, please report it. Instagram taken about 84 years to respond to all the reports that have been sent, but if it goes out en masse, then this scammer, who's some fake crypto miner geezer, I don't know who the hell it is, but someone's got in there, that account will disappear. So make sure you're following my new one, link in the description, as well as my Twitter and all my other socials, they are in the description. Thank you very much. Now, secondly, I made an announcement earlier on across all the socials, and even on here if you saw the post. But if you haven't, here's the announcement. After 2 long years, you've asked for it, you've got it. Oh my god, it's happening, it's happening. Oh, he's got through! Kai Havertz! Kai Havertz! Kai Havertz! Yes! Yes! We want him up! Yes! Ref! Yeah! Chelsea are champions of the world! Watch-alongs are back. Back better than ever. See you soon. So there we are, watch along, 21st of October, this Saturday, Chelsea versus Arsenal. I will be live an hour before kickoff as we bring back the watch-alongs and the watch-alongs return to Younes Talks Football. So I will be here an hour before kickoff, go through your comments, as we used to do. It used to be half an hour before kickoff I normally come on, but we're doing an hour for this one because it's special. I'm back and I'm going to really enjoy the occasion with all of you guys. So we'll spend an hour before kickoff going over everything, the lineups, your comments. So make sure you are there. Chelsea Arsenal, 4:30 p.m. UK time. The stream will begin. Make sure you're here for that. Let's get this party started once again. Now, talking about parties getting started, let's talk about what's going on at Chelsea. We've got latest in terms of the stadium development. What's going on? Well, let's get into it. Here it is. Chelsea have purchased the majority of a 1.2 acre site next to Stamford Bridge from the Stoll Foundation. The picture from the Mail shows what land the club have purchased. So if we go down, there we go. The one that's numbered 2, if I am going to show you the cursor, there it is. So number 2, this is the current grounds of Stamford Bridge. And this in number 1 in red is the new purchased land from Stoll, which currently belongs as a residential area to veterans and, if I'm not mistaken, Chelsea pensioners. If I'm not mistaken, I think Chelsea pensioners live there. That has now been purchased, so Chelsea will have that land to use. Now, the resident consultation went in, everything it seems like it's been approved, and yeah, this whole move in terms of the money that's going to be put by Chelsea to buy this land is going to help get the current residents brand new homes and extra money for the Stoll Foundation and for them to get some profit, etc. Right? Now, this land that we've acquired, for me, isn't enough. Let's bring it back on screen. If Chelsea are looking to expand, look at the extra land that has been bought. What does that actually do for us? What it might do for us, and if I'm going to bring the cursor back on screen for you guys, is we might be able to extend the stand into slightly this area if we were to turn this pitch into a more horizontal display rather than more vertical how it is now. If we were to switch it this way and then build around it, maybe, but even then, the land that we have here is an edge, it's a corner. So I don't quite understand, if we were to turn the pitch, how that stand is going to be built in order to look straight. It's not very ideal. So this is where we have to start thinking, what is actually going to happen in terms of the stadium and what can we actually do? Because rebuilding at Stamford Bridge would be the perfect situation. But I'm starting to think it might be too complex. Let's get into more news. This came out earlier on from The Independent, if I'm not mistaken, from Matt Law's article. Chelsea have still not ruled out relocating to a new site. If they do stay at Stamford Bridge, the club would need to either ground share with neighbours Fulham at Craven Cottage or move into Wembley or Twickenham while the work was undertaken. You see, this is also another sticky situation. There was a report earlier on from Matt Law and a few others saying that the plan is to build a minimum 55,000 capacity stadium. I'm sorry, but that's not enough. And right now at Stamford Bridge, right, again, if I'm going to bring that picture back on screen for you guys, with the space that we have here, I'm going to be completely honest. If we want to build a stadium that is going to be remotely big enough, the hotels need to disappear. The Millennium and Copthorne hotels need to be demolished. Now, those are owned by Chelsea Football Club, so that will probably be demolished. But even then, to try and fit an entire new stadium within this capacity, with the layout that it has and the weird unorthodox corner that we have here, because right now we can't exactly build around this space that we have, and then we can't dip into number one either, because what are we going to do there? It doesn't feel like it's enough. In order to get more than 55,000 capacity stadium at Stamford Bridge. But I have to stress, if we're building a new stadium, it's got to be a minimum of 60. A minimum. I would advocate for 65. If not, what's the point? We might as well just stay at Stamford Bridge. Just keep it as it is. What's the point? We're going to go through all of that. Relocating, rebuilding, time to get what? 12, 13,000 more seats. What's the point? When we've got other teams hitting 60, 65, 70, not a problem. We've got Tottenham with a spaceship. We've got Arsenal with the Emirates. We've got Old Trafford, which has always been Old Trafford, and they're looking to expand that. You know, what's the point? We need to be able to build a stadium once and for all that's going to be big enough if we're going to do it properly. I don't think at this location it's going to be logistically possible. And if we were to stay at Stamford Bridge and rebuild, where do we go? I'm going to be completely honest with you. Wembley is too far. It's just not ideal. To spend 4 or 5 years at Wembley, it's just not going to be nice. It's just not. For those that understand London and the geography of London and where Stamford Bridge is and where Wembley is, you'd understand. It's too far. You're asking season ticket holders, members, to always end up going all the way to Wembley. Wembley, if I'm not mistaken, is Zone 5. If you understand how London is mapped, you'd know what I'm on about. If I'm not mistaken, Stamford Bridge is Zone 2, maximum. It's Zone 1, I think, isn't it? It's got to be Zone 1. Fulham Broadway Zone 1, is it not? Or is it? If it's anything, it's Zone 2 by max. Zone 5, Wembley's out of flipping. It's close to the M25, man. It's just, it's not ideal. So there's that. Twickenham is a mission to get to by any means. Any means, God forbid you take public transport to Twickenham. You ain't getting there. It's as simple as that. It's so poorly connected. For a stadium, it's ridiculously badly connected. That part of London, southwest London, Twickenham, Richmond, that's a horrible area to travel to. There's just no way in unless you drive. But if you drive, the traffic is ridiculous in that area. It's hell. I remember travelling from that point of London to home. It took me 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, if I went on the motorway, I'd be close to Leeds. I would have gone past Leicester. 2.5 hours from London. Southwest London to another part of South London, 2.5 hours, because Twickenham is horrible. It's just not ideal. So Twickenham and the stadium itself is old, it's dingy, it's not been looked after. I mean, it's just no. doesn't work. So that's out of the question. The London Stadium belongs to West Ham, can we not? And we're going to end up going to East London. No, that's just not ideal either. The only feasible solution would be Craven Cottage. And we would have to take the hit in terms of capacity. Season ticket holders, I'm sorry, but whoever makes it, makes it. Whoever doesn't. You're reduced. It has to be reduced because Craven Cottage is an even smaller stadium than Stamford Bridge. So if we were to share the ground with Fulham, logistically it would work, but the amount of fans that can attend is going to be much less than how it would normally be on a match day at Stamford Bridge. So if you think about staying at Stamford Bridge, and we don't need to do anything, and then go to Earls Court, for example, that just would be ideal. We don't need to think about demolishing anything, rebuilding anything. We just look, there's a site, it's ready, build on it. Done. Earls Court currently has a development. It's got a current development on it that has been acquired, but they haven't started building. The building is meant to commence in 2025. It's still currently going through all the procedures to get complete approval from the residents, which so far they have done, and everything looks like it's going to go ahead. But Chelsea can still step in. If we were, because they're looking to turn it into some luxury apartments, 1,200 homes, I think, some shops, cafes, restaurants, that sort of place, some green, a park. Like they're trying to do a whole development in Earls Court where the old exhibition centre used to sit, which is a big space, right? If Chelsea can go to that development and tell them, listen, here's our money, please give us this, and you can have Stamford Bridge. That part, have it. You can develop on it. Everything you want to develop here, develop there. Right? Because the size is slightly smaller, but it should still be big enough to be able to do a complete development. Much like they did at Highbury when they got rid of Highbury and they went to the Emirates. What did Highbury turn into? A bunch of flats. They can do that at Stamford Bridge. Give us Earls Court. Because that is the perfect location, man. It's got 3 tube stations. It's a 5-minute walk, a 10-minute walk from Stamford Bridge. Everyone can still come to the same vicinity. It's bigger. There's tons of space. We can build on it. We don't need to move from Stamford Bridge until that's completed. It's just much easier. But it depends on the development, and it depends on whether they give us the authorization to give us that ground, which they might not. So let me know your thoughts down below. I hope I've clarified the whole situation on the stadium perfectly. Fingers crossed that has been made clear, and we'll see what happens. But I'm hoping that this comes to a resolution, because we need to build a 65,000 capacity stadium. We just have to. If not, there's no point. So let me know your thoughts down below if you agree or disagree. What would your suggestions be? Much appreciated. Now, let's get into the latest on Osimhen before we look at the other big news. Chelsea are interested in Victor Osimhen, and a January departure can't be discounted. The Napoli striker still hasn't signed a new deal and isn't enjoying his football under Rudy Garcia. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Okay. We'll see what happens in January. We'll see. Although, look, let's see what happens with Jackson. Let's see what happens with Broja. Let's see what we do until January. Let's see what happens at Napoli until January, and then we'll make a decision. But it's nice to know that this option is open, because like I've said before, Ivan Toney, Arsenal, forget it. He's going to Arsenal. It's going to happen. He's not coming to Chelsea. So I'd like to think Victor Osimhen, big possibility. Fingers crossed. Now, let me know your thoughts. Let's get to, England have won tonight. It's finished. I've just checked. 3-1. Are they going to stick with Southgate? No. We've already established that Southgate will be leaving the England job after Euro 2024, which doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, there's that. But he's leaving after Euro 2024. Turns out a manager might be available after Euro 2024, or even end of the season. Let's get into it. New and exclusive, Jose Mourinho, the English one. Portuguese boss opened the discussions over role after summer 2024. Team X says Jose Mourinho is in contention to replace Gareth Southgate as England manager after the 2024 Euros. Mourinho is expected to leave Roma at the end of the season and is open to a conversation with the FA. Team Talk understands. On top of that, we have Sky Sports Italia. Jose Mourinho is expected to leave Roma when his contract expires at the end of the season, with no talks lined up about extending his deal. This is going to be mega. Why? Because Well, firstly, he gets to leave on his own accord for the first time since Inter Milan. End of contract. No sacking, no nothing. He's come to the end of his contract. I'm out. See you later, guys. It seems like he wants to go, and it seems like Roma are happy to let him go because Jose doesn't feel like he's been supported well enough after accomplishing what he did in the Conference League and the Europa League final. The budget has always been small, and I think he came to an understanding that it should be a larger budget eventually, and there should be enough money to be able to go and get players that he needs to take the team to the next level. He's not got any. In fact, he's been dealing with tons of free transfers as the only business that the club are able to do, as well as players coming in on loan. Lukaku. So that's all he's had. I think he's frustrated and he doesn't see any end to the deadlock. So for that reason, there's no project to begin with because there's no room to build. It's just constantly free transfers coming in and loanees, and that's it. That's not building. That's just trying to get by. So Jose is clearly frustrated. Roma can't move from that position, it seems. And Antonio Conte spoke and was talking about how he felt like it was a mistake leaving Juventus after those 3 seasons and how he's interested perhaps in maybe Napoli, but Roma. He did mention Roma. So there might be a thing here where Conte once again, for the 3rd time, has to follow after Mourinho at a football club. First it was Chelsea. Conte came in after Jose. Then it was Tottenham. Conte came in after Jose. Now it's going to be Roma. Conte comes in after Jose. I mean, Antonio, what are you doing? And you know what? It's going to end even badly for Conte. If Roma don't have money, you forget it. Forget it. Conte is going to struggle. Tottenham were the experiment. That's it. So it seems like now, end of contracts coming, Mourinho's happy to leave. Gareth Southgate is to leave England. Is it the perfect time for Jose Mourinho to come into the England job? He did want the job before. We all remember the time when he was this close to taking the England job, and then he didn't. And if I'm not mistaken, he ended up going to, was it Real Madrid? Or was it before that? I think it might have even been Inter Milan, where he could have taken the England job, but he didn't. And now the opportunity has arisen. I think he'll take it. I think he'll come back to England. His family are here. We know what he's like with the English. I feel like this job, this profile will be perfect. It gives him a little bit more time to relax. Now, he's away from club football, those pressures. There's no dealing with transfer fees. There's no dealing with a board. There's no dealing with all sorts of players that you just have to deal with at the club because they're employed by the club. In England, or a national team, you call the shots. You call up who you want to call up. You bring in who you want to bring in. They're all top players because they're all internationals. They're all playing for the national team. So you're getting the best of the best, right? So that's what Jose wants. And it's knockout football. It's his expertise. He just gets to deal with tournament football. Fantastic. We start a tournament. Great. Then we've got a group stage. It's knockout stage, quarterfinal, semi-final. Boom, let's go and get a trophy. It would be perfect. It would be perfect. Now, some people are going to say, no, he's defensive. I don't want this. I want to see England win something. Yeah, I've had, look, God forbid I've had enough. What about our granddads and our parents who have been through decades and decades and decades of hurt and not seen anything? Oh, I mean, there's people that are still alive that have only seen something since 1966, right? It was the last time. I'm sorry, but we've got to bring an end to that. Mourinho's the guy to do it. In the England job, national team, where he gets to prepare for ages for one game. One game preparation is months, you know, and then he gets to prepare for a tournament with all the time in the world. You give Mourinho all the time in the world with players that he gets to choose, with the best to choose from, without having to do a transfer budget and without having to deal with a board. I think it's the perfect scenario for him. So, FA, what are you doing? Bring in Jose. Bring in Jose. And you best believe, look, if Jose comes in, everyone will be supporting him. Everyone. You see what we're seeing with Gareth Southgate at the moment? It wouldn't exist with Jose. It just wouldn't. You can just tell everyone would be like, yeah. And you know what? It would actually be nice because everyone in England will now get to understand what we got to experience under him. what Man United, they didn't really get to experience Jose properly. For one season, they got a glimpse, but that was about it. Tottenham just failed completely. Tottenham are Tottenham. Well, at the top of the table at the moment, fair play. But everyone's going to be able to understand, hopefully, if you were to bring success to the England team, what it's like to have someone like this as your gaffer. Do you know what I mean? So I'm all for it. I am all for it. Bring it on. Will you want to see Mourinho as the England boss? The English one? Let me know down below. Much appreciated. I definitely will. And I think I can speak for most Chelsea fans. I think we all would love to see him at least back in some capacity. And to be leading the country, I think would be hilarious. I just think it would be beautiful. It'd be class. It'd be class. So let me know your thoughts down below. Now, to wrap up, big news out of Italy. Not them just getting knocked out of the Euros once again, but this. Juventus midfielder Nicolo Fagioli will be banned for 7 months, reports Sky Sport. I don't know why I started to get an Italian accent, because we have to suffer. Let me keep reading. Decision approved by Turin Prosecutor's Office for betting on illegal platforms, to be announced soon. Out for 7 months. So you have to ask the question, what's going to happen to Tonali? It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. The gambling situation is mad. I hope they can all just end their gambling addictions and just stop. Yeah, banned for 7 months is a long time. Like I said, it's not the end of it. What's going to happen with Tonali? What's going to happen with I think there was a third player involved, so 3 in total. What's going to happen to them? Let me know your thoughts, but it's no surprise that this has happened. No surprise that this has happened. 7 months out, detrimental to the career. Out for the season, basically, and not because of an injury. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. Much appreciated, and we will call it a day for today. Thank you all so much. Make sure you're here tomorrow as we will drop more. And, sorry, wrong one. Make sure you're here tomorrow as we will drop more. And in order to be here for that, you have to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified once I have uploaded. Smash like button if you have enjoyed this. We gear up to the Premier League weekend, where the watch-alongs are coming back, so make sure you're here for that. Do not forget, check out the socials. They are on screen for you right now. My new Instagram and Twitter, as well as all the others in the description below. Much appreciated, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, people. See you tomorrow. Have a good one. Take care, and peace.